One of the best examples of modern-day strategic thinking comes from UFC champion Ilia Topuria, who some have called the Spanish James Bond. Ilia is obviously talented.
Everything is so sharp. His technique is flawless. Everything's flawless. His boxing is so dangerous. He's so dangerous everywhere. He's dangerous with submissions. He's dangerous with kicking. He's dangerous. His heart is dangerous.
But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that led to his success. So today we're breaking down 5 lessons from him to help you become more strategic and mentally sharp, which, if applied, can help you win in any field, be it business, sports, or personal interactions. Ilia isn't just a killer in the ring. His success starts with his strategic thinking. His fight IQ is top tier.
Tactically, he's so smart. So it's not just his ability, his skill, it's knowing when to apply it and how to adjust to different kinds of fighters.
But his strategy extends beyond fighting. He's also calculated in his trash talking, social media presence, and career plan. For example, he started recording footage to make a documentary about becoming a UFC champion years before he ever had a title fight. Why? Because Ilia thinks long-term.
Going into the fight was that you had world champion and 15-0 in your Instagram bio, but I noticed that's not there anymore. Is there any particular, there's now like a quote there. Is there any reason for the switch?
Yeah, because right now my goal before this this fight was to become a UFC World Champion. Right now I'm the UFC World Champion, so I have a different goals right now. I want to be a legend. I just write the history. Right now it's time to write the legend.
Most people want success immediately. They want instant gratification. So they take shortcuts that help initially but hurt in the long run. But Ilia is focused on something bigger. It's hard to beat someone who has a long time horizon. And although it goes against our human nature, it makes sense to have a long time horizon because the majority of results come from compounding over a long period of time. Warren Buffett made 99% of his net worth after he turned 65. Conor McGregor made 90% of his net worth a decade after his professional MMA debut. This long-term thinking helps Ilia stay patient through the hard work. In the day-to-day, Ilia comes with a specific plan to improve. And to be fair, most UFC fighters do this, but in everyday life, most people do not. They just kind of show up and hope for the best, which means you can get far ahead of everyone else if you come prepared. Where could you come with a plan that nobody else does? Another part of Ilia's strategy is setting the frame of interactions with his opponents, which helps establish him as a leader and allows him to strike at the optimal time for him. He's notorious for being picky about who and when he will fight.
He didn't have any options. I'm the champion right now. I choose the date, I choose the place, so he just has to be ready and he has to wait for the call. Whenever I want him, he has to be ready.
And this has downsides. Fans sometimes think he's cocky. But the best military leaders throughout history have used the exact same tactic. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu says, "So in war, the way is to avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. Let your plans be dark and impenetrable as night. And when you move, fall like a thunderbolt."
Oh, big hammer fist by Topuria. There it is. Big shot. Oh.
You might not be a professional fighter like Ilia, but we can all learn from this by finding the optimal line of attack in life and seizing the opportunity when it presents itself, as opposed to the alternative of sitting around and waiting for things to come to you or just taking whatever falls in your lap. To bring up another great military leader, Ilia lives out what Navy SEAL Jocko Willink calls default aggressive.
What it means is you need to make things happen. You can start to think with an aggressive mindset, which is I am going to take action. I'm going to overcome obstacles. I'm going to push through roadblocks. I'm not going to take no for an answer. And those are things that you can train. And how do you train them? Look, when you hit an obstacle, you look at it, you shake your head and you go, cool, let's go.
When he sees something, he goes after it, even if it's just talking trash to earn more pay-per-view money to secure his family's future, or putting relentless pressure on an opponent when he sees an opening. Now, obviously, being default aggressive makes you more likely to get what you want in the long run, but along the way, it also helps you build confidence by providing proof that you're a person of action. And the best part is becoming a person of action is a habit. So even if you feel like you're not there right now, you can change that over time by taking action more. But there's another way that Ilia sets the frame of his interactions, and it's through what he shows on social media. He understands that fighting and fame is a game, and so he plays it by showing himself as this almost larger-than-life character. Now, you don't want to fake this. It works in part because Ilia really is that guy. But being strategic about how you present yourself can help you stand out, especially in a business or competition setting. For example, powerlifter Mark Bell once said that one of the best purchases he ever made was a pair of Groucho Marx glasses that he would wear at competitions because they took the attention off of everybody else and put it onto him. But you need to be careful not to lose yourself in the process. Authenticity is key, otherwise it can come off as insincere. In fact, one of the biggest criticisms of Ilia is that his trash talk sometimes seems insincere. It seems like he's acting. As Ilia has grown in popularity, he's gotten a lot of celebrities who want to hang out with him. So how does he react to that?
By the way, I spoke to Merab on my show last week, and he was telling me that he's hanging out with you, and he looked at your phone, and he saw all these celebrities who would write to you on Instagram, and you were like, nah, I don't care. Like, there were so many unopened messages from celebrities, from famous people, from models, from things like that, and you're like, you're not even opening them because you said, I need to be focused.
Ilia is keenly aware of the cost of distractions and eliminates them.
Right now, I'm gonna stop with everything. I did everything I had to do, and right now I will be like completely concentrated in my training. I'm gonna go back home and start like full-time training.
Like we talked about earlier, this is one of those areas where most people are weak. So if you're even a little bit better, you'll get ahead. Almost everyone has distractions that pull us away. Could be video games, TikTok, partying, etc. Taking a break from these, even temporarily, can help you focus and achieve your goals, just like it does for Ilia. Humility helps with this too, because Ilia isn't tempted into things that don't matter, like fame. He's focused on what's truly important.
People are talking a lot about how popular you are in Spain and these places in Europe.
To be honest, I don't care about that kind of things. I just want to be happy, which I am. I'm already very happy with my life, with everything I got. Any result gonna change my life. I'm a happy man, and I will keep as a happy man after this Saturday night too.
Importantly, this doesn't mean to ignore everything. Ilia is still a husband and a father, but ignore the key distractions to focus your attention on what matters. There's a Steve Jobs quote that ties this all together. He said, innovation is saying no to 1,000 things so you can say yes to the one that matters. Ilia takes this to another level. He combines discipline and mental focus to do the boring work that no one else wants to do, but brings the best results. Many people in MMA have one specific focus they're known for. Max Holloway is a boxer. Khabib is a wrestler, Alex Pereira is a striker. But Ilia is perhaps the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC right now. And that's because he works on everything, not just the stuff he enjoys. He's now known for his boxing, even though he grew up doing wrestling and BJJ. All of the greats do this boring work. Warren Buffett spends 6 hours a day reading annual reports. Stephen Curry would shoot 500 shots per day every day. So the question here is, what is the boring stuff that would help me get ahead, but I'm too lazy to do? Finally, Ilia has high standards. He doesn't settle for mediocrity. Take a look at what he says here.
Yeah, that was the first time I met Messi. He was like one of the persons that I always had in my mind that if I see him, I'm going to ask him for a picture. That's the only person, him, and I think Michael Jordan. I would ask them for a picture.
He only wants a pic with Messi. Or take fighting. He doesn't just want to win a few fights. He wants to become champion. And once he's champion, he wants to be one of the greatest of all time. This is an idea that's echoed in all fields. If you want to be great, you have to aim to be the best. It's not that if you aim for the top, you'll automatically get there. But it's that it's so hard to get to the top that if you don't aim there, you'll never end up even close. Your high standards will make up for the failures that you'll encounter along the way. And the important thing here is to raise your standards over time. For most people, if they're too high initially, you'll get demoralized and give up. Start small, but as your skills grow, you want your standards to raise with them so you keep getting better. The last way these high standards come out with Ilia is in his trash talk.
I mean, when you look at the division, who makes sense to you in your mind? Who stands out?
No, nobody. The division really sucks. We need a new challengers, We need a couple of more fights in the division. So we'll see what's going to happen in the future, and hopefully we're going to have some clear challenger. But right now, there is nobody.
He is the opposite of someone like Max Holloway, who we covered last week. And in everyday life, you'll usually get better results building people up and complimenting others. But in competition and business, pointing out your level compared to others can show confidence and dominance.
What were you feeling in the seconds after seeing that?
I don't know, man. It's like, I know what's going to happen when we're going to share the octagon. I know that in reality, he's not so good that people think he is. You just have to see his face, you know. He looks like he had an accident in a motorcycle without the helmet, you know.
Used strategically and occasionally, this can be a strong move. Those are the 5 lessons from Ilia. I'll see you next week.